Hey everyone, this is Paul, and you're listening to episode 7 of the Generation Latino podcast. Guys, I hope you're having a beautiful day. I hope that your year, that 2025, is going the way you planned. And if it isn't going that way, hang in there. You got this. It's still very, very early. But I wanted to ask y'all a question. What are some books that you've read that have helped you change your life or challenge you or get you to think differently? I say that because today we're going to talk about uh, a book that has changed my life, that I have used to help me navigate life challenges, obstacles, divorce, school, career. And it's a book that is simple. It's a quick read. So today's episode is called The Four Agreements. What are they? All right, guys. So today we're going to talk about the book called The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And guys, it is such a good book. I have to say that I've read it at least, I think, 3 times already, because it's just that important to me. And the four agreements that he talks about are so pivotal to at least my life and how I want to live my life. And I was thinking to myself, you know what? Like, I want to talk to, my listeners and tell them some things that I have, used as inspiration or motivation to keep going forward and to keep navigating life. I know for me, growing up in a Latino family, growing up in a Latino community, I'm going to be honest, we didn't really read books, let alone self-help books, right? Like, I always joke that we grew up on the TV, like MTV, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, VH1, but it's the truth. We didn't really read much self-help books. My mom was working all the time, so it's not like I took a habit from her reading books. I mean, she had to raise 4 kids. So there was no way that she had really much time to read and whatnot. So, but I love a good self-help book. I think for me, I didn't start reading self-help books till probably about college, when I really got, and I think the first one I had read was like The Secret. And then I just became obsessed with kind of self-development and helping myself be a better person. But when it comes to self-help books, I am not a person who needs 97 steps to help me be a better person, or 39 ways to be a better person. Like, I need something simple for me to understand and be able to implement in my life. I cannot have a, 400-page book to help me navigate my life. I personally can't. Maybe some people can, but for me, I need something simple, something easy, and something that I can understand quickly. And for me, The Four Agreements is such a good book. So I'm gonna kind of read an excerpt for you from the back of the book, and then we're going to go over the four agreements that have helped me navigate life, and maybe some of these things can also help you. So the four agreements offer a powerful code of conduct that can rapidly transform our lives to a new experience of freedom, true happiness, and love. So already, and I can't remember, I think, not to be cliche, but I think I saw this book first, like, on Oprah. I used to, like, as a little boy, I used to watch Oprah all the time. Like, all the time. I was always watching Oprah, and I was always inspired by her. And that's probably why I am the way I am right now. But, anyways, these four agreements, I'm going to go over each agreement and just chat with them and chat and talk about them. So, the first agreement is, be impeccable with your word. Speak with integrity. Say only what you mean. Avoid using the word to speak against yourself or to gossip about others. Use the power of your word in the direction of truth and love. When I was younger, I used to always get upset when people wouldn't follow through with what they were saying they were gonna do. And specifically with like my mom, she would promise me something and then it wouldn't happen. And I'm like, oh my God, you're the worst parent ever. But, as a child, she wasn't being impeccable with her word. And I joke with her now, like, Mom, you weren't being impeccable with your word. Obviously, I wasn't giving her any grace either. But for me, being impeccable with your word means saying what you're going to do and doing what you're saying you're going to do. Like, I do not promise anything to anyone that I know that I can't follow through with. I will not tell someone I'm going to be somewhere or go somewhere. I am like notorious for being like, well, I'll get back to you, or I don't know yet, or, let me think about it. And it's because I don't want to tell someone yes and then me tell them no. And also, too, like with being impeccable with your word, I think words are so powerful. And I think sometimes we get caught up, like, the book states, in gossip or self-hatred. We tell ourselves we're not good enough. We tell ourselves, oh, I'm not worthy of being loved, or I'm not pretty, I'm not this, I'm not that. I mean, the list can go on. And that's why it's so important to make sure when you are talking about yourself that you say it in a positive light. Like, I am worthy. I am beautiful. I am smart enough. I can do that. And I will do that, versus creating that self-sabotage of just negative words, because it will start to affect you. I know many people who are like, oh yeah, I deserve this, or I deserve that. I'm like, no, you don't. And don't tell yourself that. Because the second that you tell yourself something, you're gonna believe it, whether you want to or not. But that's being impeccable with your word. And if this is something that you struggle with, just practice it. Practice small, right? Practice, hey, if someone invites you somewhere, it's a yes or it's a no. And I remember telling one of my really good friends about, I said, as I get older, I want my no's to be more confident, and my yeses to be more confident. Like, I want to be so confident in my decision making that there is no guilt in the decision that I've made. So when someone asks me something, it's yes or no, and I move on from it. Oftentimes it's like, I feel bad, I want to go, because no one's going to, like, we create this whole narrative in our head. So again, my goal for me is to just be more confident in my delivery with my yeses and my nos. So that is number one, being impeccable with your word. Number two is one that I think a lot of people struggle with. It's not my biggest struggle. I'll let you know which one is mine. But number two is, don't take anything personally. Nothing others do is about you. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality, their own dream. When you are immune to the opinions and actions of others, you won't be the victim of needless suffering. Guys, that is pretty powerful, because oftentimes we take so many things personal. So many things we take personal. And it's true, though. Someone says something about us, whether it's a work review, whether it's a parent saying something to you, or even your child saying something to you. It's not about us. It's about them and how they feel. And for me, I grew up in the theater world where I was always being critiqued. Like, you would perform a scene or do something, rehearsal, and you would sit there and they would just critique you and say shit that was not the best stuff sometimes. And I remember one time I was in class and this girl we were doing scenes, and you would do your scene and the professor would just critique you in front of everyone, whether it was bad or good. But there was this one girl, and the teacher was like really going in on her, but he went in on everyone. So it wasn't personal. It was like, girl, we're all getting critiqued. And she just like broke down crying and she had to leave the class, and I was like, oh my God. But I think for me, I was always critiqued, so I never took it personal. And also too, being a young Latino queer, I mean, I would be called names in the hallway and people would say slurs to me, but that never changed me though. I never sat with that and believed what those people told me. And you shouldn't either. Somebody calls you a horrible name, or, I mean, that's why I'm always joking so much, because like people can say stuff to me and I'm like, girl, boy, it's not going to bother me. You know, whether it's a work review, whether it's something that that is, you know, maybe hard for other people to take. One thing that I think is that I kind of take personal is school. I got critiqued a lot in my program that I just finished, and I know I would always tell my friend Jen, like, I think the professor is like picking on me. He's picking on me, and she's like, he's not picking on you. He's just critiquing you and he's grading you. I felt attacked, and that was just me though. Like that was how I felt, but he wasn't really picking on me. He was just being a professor to a graduate student, you know. But I would always have that conversation with my friend Jen because, you know, she was always there with me. She was like my rock in grad school, and I would just vent to her, and I realized that it was not personal. He wasn't picking me and, you know, picking on me and only me. It was everyone. And, you know, so anyways, don't take anything personal is a really, really good one. But this next one is the one that I struggle with the most. I practice it, but honestly, it's one that I struggle with. And it is, don't make assumptions. Find the courage to ask questions and to express what you really want. Communicate with others as clearly as you can to avoid misunderstandings, sadness, and drama. With just this one agreement, you can completely transform your life. Guys, how many of you listening out there make assumptions about the smallest things? How many of you out there get a text message and assume the worst? Or someone has a conversation with you, you assume the worst. I joke with my mom that that she's always so passive aggressive. I love my mom. If you're listening, Mom, I love you. But she can be a very passive aggressive person. And, you know, I tell her, like, Mom, you have to tell people how you feel. You have to let people understand what you're thinking, because we're not mind readers. And when you tell people how you feel and you want change, it's, first of all, you don't know if it's a yes or no, but you're never going to know if you do not tell them how you're feeling. And then what happens is we create these scenarios in our heads that, oh, because he didn't text me, that means he's cheating on me, and because he's cheating on me, he got a girl pregnant. I mean, the narratives of making assumptions they are endless, and I'm guilty of it. That's why it's my biggest struggle. You know, I'm dating someone, and, you know, he doesn't text me after work. I'm like, oh, he's probably with someone. He probably has a wife, and I'm a secret. And but I mean, I am creating like the biggest fucking telenovela out there. And he's like, oh, hey, sorry, like, you know, my boss was talking to me, and we had to unload some stuff from the back room. I'm like, oh, okay. And over here, I'm fucking like a crazy person creating these narratives, you know? So that's another big one with making assumptions. I'm really trying to get better at it. When it comes to relationships, in other areas, I'm really good at it. I'm really good at not making assumptions. I'm good at asking questions. And I don't know, do y'all feel like y'all are good at not making assumptions, or do y'all make assumptions? I know for me, this was one that I struggle with. And I think it's why a lot of people are passive aggressive. I think that's why a lot of people fight, or like the book says, create unnecessary drama because we assume he doesn't like her, she doesn't like him, and all that assuming creates such unnecessary toxic energy. So again, I have no problem asking questions. Like, I really don't. And you ask anyone that I know, I'm like, excuse me, hands up, I have a question, because I don't want to assume something. But as far as how I am in relationships, I am trying to get better at it, because I do tend to think the worst sometimes in relationships, and that's probably from trauma and shitty boyfriends and divorce and yada yada yada. The list goes on and on. But yeah, I'm curious if you feel that you make assumptions and how they affect you in that way. And so the last one is my favorite one, because to me, it's the easiest one, and it is always do your best. Your best is going to change from moment to moment. It will be different when you are healthy as opposed to sick. Under any circumstance, simply do your best, and you will avoid self-judgment, self-abuse, and regret. Guys, that's why I don't have many regrets. I do have regrets, but I don't have a lot of regrets. And honestly, it's because no matter what I do, I always try to do my best. Always, always. It could be the smallest thing or the biggest thing. I am constantly always trying to do my best, whether it's being the best supervisor, the best director, the best manager, the best student, the best teacher, the best any. I always want to do my best. Whether I'm at the gym, I'm always trying to do my best. And the beauty of that is you're doing the best for yourself. You're not doing it to be the best athlete, to make the most money. I mean, for me, I'm doing it just to be the best version of myself. And whatever comes from it, that's great. But what I'm not going to do is be the best for someone else. That's how I take it. Like, I want to be the best Paul. You know, like, you want to be the best version of you. I don't want to be the best Paul at work so that I get a raise. If it happens, great. But that also leads up to a lot of disappointment. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I've been doing my best. Why am I not getting a raise? Or I'm doing my best. Why isn't this working out for me? No, I don't do it for that. I do my best for myself. But no, that's my favorite one because it's so simple to do. You don't have to have any credential, any level of education or merit to do your best. Like, you really don't. Like, think about it, guys. You don't need anything to do your best. You don't need a certificate. You don't need a degree. You don't need a diploma. You don't need a six-pack. You don't need anything. Right? But willpower and grit and motivation. So, for me, this book has truly helped me in my life. And there's been a lot of books that I've read, self-help books, a lot of audibles that I've, really, really loved to listen to. But this one has truly helped me through so many difficult times, because out of those 4 agreements, there's always one that I'm always going to need more. Right now, the one that I need is to do my best. I'm in a very, how do I say this? I'm in a very crossroads part of my life right now. There's a lot going on with personally, professionally. There's a lot going on. And what I need to focus on is just doing my best and being my best in whatever I'm doing. And as anxiety creeps in, as uncertainty creeps in, I tell myself, like, you have to keep doing your best. Do not give up. And if you're listening out there and you're struggling with one of those, whether it's, not taking things personal, not making assumptions, being impeccable with your word, or just doing your best. I'm sure there's one of those four agreements that you're struggling with. And I'm telling you, they have helped me. And maybe right now it's, doing my best. And maybe in a couple of weeks or a couple of months, it may be not to take anything personal, but by me living by those agreements, it has helped me. And I really recommend you, if you have not read the book, to go buy it. I think I spent like $13 on it. And again, I don't recommend books often. I'm not one to be like, hey, this is a book club. I love to read, but this book, honestly, and especially during times like today, the world that we're living in with uncertainty and anxieties up through the roof and all that, I really recommend you, reading the book or reading the Audible. But guys, I want to thank you for tuning in, and I want to say something, before I let you go. I would truly, truly appreciate it if you liked this, or if you gave it a positive review, and if you shared this with somebody. The best part of doing this podcast, guys, is seeing the growth throughout the U.S. and outside of the U.S. Now I'm in Mexico, and that's pretty cool. And I created this podcast because I know that there's other people out there like myself that need community and want some inspiration and motivation. And this is why I am doing it. It's a passion project of mine, and I want to follow through with it. And again, share this if you feel the need to share it. Like it, please, and thumbs up it, whatever. I'm on all streaming platforms, from Apple Music to Spotify to Amazon to iHeartRadio. But anyways, guys, I want to thank you so very much, and I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day. And I'll see you on the next episode.